All right, so one rep max test. If you watch my other video where I was talking about the 2023 updated edition of things that you need to make sure that your fitness routine is doing what it's supposed to do, that video. All right, I know I messed up that title a little bit, but it's okay. I'll have a link in the description, or I have a card somewhere so you can go and watch this. Basically, I talked about one of the categories I talked about was the one rep max test, or the max test. All right. The version of max test that I use for mostly everything is the one rep max test. The reason why I use it, I feel like it's better it's more accurate to count for a one rep max than to do a certain amount of reps over a certain period of time. And that's what they do, a certain calculation, and then you see how much output a person really has. I don't feel like that is as strong or that is as accurate as you truly putting as much weight on this bar and you doing this one time or as many times as you can do it, which you should put enough weight on the bar to where you only can get one rep, right? That is your maximum output at this point in time. That's how strong you are. That's why I believe it's better than a bunch of reps, all right? Because a person can be really great at endurance, and it can affect how good how good their scores are. And I know there's some other variables to all my people that's actually into training and coaching. We ain't talking about all that, but that's why I believe that the one rep max test is better. All right, so I'm gonna stick with one rep max. A few training tools that you can use will be the bench press. You want to measure your bench press, one rep max. You want to measure your barbell back squat. You want to measure your deadlift, whether it's conventional or sumo, depending on whatever one you want to use. Right, athletes are more so going to use conventional, right, because that pulling in that style translates over into a power clean and all this other stuff, right? It does translate over into that. You're going to do the overhead press. Those four movements are going to be four different tests that you can use in order to measure your strength in all of those different movements basically in those planes of motion, so to speak, right? So for my more athletic people, all right, now if you're in the gym and you're doing a lot of functional things, some other general ways to test to see if you're getting stronger, if you're getting better, is doing more athletic tests, like the pro shuttle run, right? If you want to see how good you are in acceleration, power, endurance, like speed, agility, you definitely want to do a pro shuttle run. That is something that will measure to see if you truly getting it in the gym, if all of your programming is doing what it's supposed to do. Pro shuttle run would be something that I'll recommend that you do. A vertical test is something that you should do, especially if you play basketball, if you play football, right? Those are two sports that you are going to need you want to test to see what's their maximum output when it comes down to going vertically in the air. So definitely that's something that you could use. Even if you're an average gym goer, you want to test to see how high can you jump? How much output can you put when it comes out? What can you put out when it comes down to jumping? That's an explosive movement. All right. Explosive movements they do tell how strong you really are. All right. The max amount of force you can produce. That's another way to test that, basically. The long jump. All right. The long jump is another thing that you can use in order to test your explosive power. Right? How much that maximum output that you can put out there, the long jump is going to be one of the things that you can use in order to make sure that you're getting better when it comes down to training. So you have upper body push, upper body pull, right? You do have a overhead. So I did overhead press. I did the bench press also, but I want to add a few more things, right? So you want to test for relative strength. You want to test for relative strength, not just lifting weights. You want to test how strong your body is with just your body. All right, with just your body. Okay. You want to test how good you are at push-ups. All right, you want to test that. That is another test I would add to any type of training routine, any type of training regimen. When it comes down to maximum output, you want to test how good you are with push-ups. All right, you also want to test how good you are with pull-ups. Okay, with pull-ups. Those two things are two tests that I believe that should be in every gym goer's program, because you can't pull yourself up. Are you truly strong? You can row, but you can't do a pull-up. No. You can do lat pull downs, but you can't do a pull-up. I understand some people say whatever, it doesn't translate. We don't care about that. But this stuff, these are pulling motions and these are pushing motions. You should be able to do both. So test your pull-up, test your push-up. You should train to get stronger in those areas. Okay. Another test that I would use on a lot of people for abdominal strength and core strength. All right. So we know that a squat is a core movement. Deadlift is a core movement. We understand that those are two core movements, right? But you want to test your abdominal strength. So a plank should be a part of a max test. That is something that I realized that it should be a part of your max test, is a plank. All right. So test your plank, work on your plank, make sure that you are strong, that you can hold yourself up in that position. That is another test that you can see how strong a person abdominal, like where your hip strength, your quad strength, your abdominal strength, all of those things, they play a part in how strong your core is. So you're going to use those muscles and hold them. That static hold, test that to see how strong you really are. So a plank should be a part of your max output test. Also, for my beginners, all right, let's go a little bit more to the beginner side. So I don't really like to use this test, like I said before, but it's another way to test and see. It's kind of another relative strength type of test, but this can be used for beginners. Is an air squat test, right? A regular standard standing up, sitting down type of test, right? Not literal. So for old people, of course, you would use stand up, sit down. But I'm talking about a regular, just a basic squat, right? You want to test and see for a minute, for literally a minute, time yourself for a minute and see how many squats you can do in a minute without stopping. Okay. Without stopping. Setting up your bench press, setting up your squat, setting up your deadlift, setting up your overhead press. It is simply put as much as you can on the bar, press or pull or whatever, put it back down, right? For the push up and for the pull up. You do not want to sit in the bottom position of a push up, and when you're testing this for a minute, and you don't want to sit in the bottom position of your push up. We'll cut that. I'm not gonna do the push. I'm not gonna explain what that is. Now, there are a bunch more tests that you can do in order to test maximum output. All right, but these are a few that I want to put out there that can help people when it comes down to measuring how strong you're getting. Are your results getting the things that you feel like they should be getting? Are you performing the way you should be performing? So this is one way to check and see how good your program is going for the time that you're in right now. All right. Now, of course, if you want more videos, if you want more maximum output tests, of course, email me, comment bssgrind@gmail.com, or comment down below, man. Let's have a conversation. Go to my website if you are interested in a 14-week program, something that is going to help you get the results that you truly need, either whether you're an athlete or whether you're a beginner. All right. Go to my website, www.bssgrind.com, schedule a consultation, or you can just get one of my programs. Let's get started. Now, let me ask you a question. Why don't you get on the grind? Peace.